Papa papa ooh mau mau, papa ooh mau mau, said papa ooh mau mau, papa ooh mau mau, said papa ooh mau mau. And that's all I'm gonna do with that before I get a copyright strike. How are we doing, folks? Thrash Bundo here, and I'm just trying to do a little lively filler material before the first of our guests start stampeding into the comments section. And stampede away. Stampede away? No, that's just a reminder that my Avast needs to be re-updated and come stampede away. Come stampede away. Come stampede away with me. You guys come. Well, I am a couple minutes early, and we go through this all the time. I start my live chat, nobody shows up straight away. I do a little song and dance, and Rachel in the house is today's winner. Rachel in actually Rachel in the 208, but she is certainly in the house, and she says hi. Hi there. And my flock is everywhere and says hi, pawns. Sarah, how you doing, by the way? Last couple of memes I've been gotten for you. You seem to be in a down state. I hope that's only temporary. Remember, we have to do a new collaboration. You, me, and Danny, both toot and or sweet. I was going to try to talk to you guys this week about it, but no excuses. The week got away from me. Lance Chapin is here and says hi, Thrash. Lance, hi to you too, man. Good to see you too. Hope you're feeling better. You got a little banged up last time I heard. Hopefully you have overcome. And Rachel says, what did I win? You win the bragging rights. Unfortunately, this is a variety show and not a contest, so there is no wagering. Mr. Led is here. He says, hey, Bob, here for a short time, as are we all. Act accordingly. So glad you could make it, Mr. Led. Welcome to the party. My flex says, Sard out. Sard out. Sard out? Sounds like a sci-fi character. Well, I'm sorry that you're Sard out, as opposed to sardine. You would be sardine. See what I did there? Instead of sard out, you're sard. Yeah, I'm sorry. Lance is doing a lot better. That's awesome. My flock is speaking emojis. Love you too. Love the birds. Hit that thumbs up, share out, and comment after show, please, and thank you. What she said. Sarah, you are my cheerleader. Tracy's here. Says hi, Robert. Tracy, Bobala, how you doing? Good to see you, babe. Very parched. The goldenrod level on Cape Cod is something I actually thought I was getting a sinus infection the other day. I literally, not figuratively, literally couldn't breathe. But if I seem a little scratchy, that's why. Hopefully. Oh my god! Oh my god! Superplex! I was just chatting with you. Superplex, it had been so long since I had seen you comment on my. You used to be my post king. You were the one you would actually get me the most comments. If you'd go to one of my posts, 39 comments. 19 of them would be you. And I saw you in one of my comments the other day. It was so nice seeing you in my comments. Please check out my posts. I know I haven't had any new ones in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to remedy that this week. But so good to see you in the comments section. And that goes for all of you too, by the way. It would be so nice to see you in my comments section. Hint, hint. And I do mean hint. Mr. Lynn said, actually FaceTiming. Oh, you're FaceTiming with one of the depleted uraniums. Tell the young Miss Letty that I said hello. Hey, Miss Led. Misled. Oh my God, that is priceless. Your daughter has misled us. Oh, that sounded almost ominous. It's like I was in where my wife worked the other day. She works in a department store, and one of the sections was accessory, and I said to murder. Accessory to mid was funny at the time. Actually, it wasn't. She didn't laugh. She stopped thinking it was funny 25 years ago. Sarah says, take two shared out, LOL. Oh, take two shared out, as opposed to sard out. Well, take two and call me in the morning. Lynn says, hey to Tracy, Mr. Lynn, Zoop, and Rachel. Everyone's saying hi to Lance. And Dominic D is here and says, hey, Bob. Hey, everyone. Zublik says, "Really? Yes, you remember. You used to go on my my uh wretched recaps, and you'd argue with all the facts that I gave, telling me that well they went wrong but wildly inaccurate. Anyway, Dave, what I'm trying to say is it's great having you on one of my posts, and I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Thank you is what I'm trying to say. This no indictments here, at least not yet. Tracy says, "Hi, gang. All of you." Oh, and Sister Sarah's giving us links. Great. And Sean says, "Hello, all. Exercising while watching." Now, be careful now. Douglas Adams tried that. And Tracy says, "High five, Sarah." Yes, a big high five to all. And oh, Ken Wilkinson's here. Oh my God, everybody wish Christopher Wilkinson a speedy recovery. He had a fever. Turns out he has the vid, and that's one heck of a way to spend your birthday. Well, happy belated birthday to you. You and your dad are more than welcome when you feel better. But everybody, please wish Christopher a speedy recovery. Sarah says, "Giggle," and Mr. Lynn says, "I will tell her, but actually, my wife's license plate is Mrs. Led. Well, that's why I called your daughter Miss Led. You see, wife Mrs., daughter Miss. Although these days you can't be too careful with pronouns. But I'm not going to get started there. Skipping down, D says hi to Tracy. Tracy says, "I had so much fun this afternoon." Oh, I'm glad you had fun. I'm sorry I missed you. Oh, I'm assuming you mean with Sarah. And yes, I had to bow out, by the way. I had some technical problem. I won't bore you with the details. House stuff. Oh, you guys hear that? Ambulances and fire trucks in the background. Be just my luck if they were heading here. If they were, I will keep you posted. And Lynch has just watched Under Siege 2. Never saw the second one. I saw the first one. Never saw the second one. Zuplik says, "I didn't realize that you are great too. Thanks for the compliments." Well, Zuplex, you're one of the good ones. And Christopher says, "Good evening, Sarah and Tracy." Sarah's giving us another link. This time to Tracy. That's very nice of you. Hi to all I missed. Tracy says, Dominic says, get well quick, Christopher. Oh, Mr. Litz is buffering. Hopefully it's just because Mrs. Thrash is using the microwave. That should end soon. Keeping her fingers crossing. Oh, and Zublix is also sorry to Christopher. And Christopher saying thank you to all lenses. Get well soon, Ken. Sorry you're going through this indeed. And Tracy says that as well. Keith E is here. What's going on over there? Buffalo Springfield. Do you know that was the name of an earth mover? Buffalo Springfield. I learned that. I believe Dick Clark actually gave me that piece of information. Keithy, so nice to see you. Always welcome into the house. I know sometimes you're here and kind of lurking in the shadows. Great you rose to the surface. Emily Miller is here and says, "Hey, y'all. Miss M, it's wonderful to see you as always." Christopher is saying, "Thank you to me that you're very, very welcome." And a lot of people having fellowship, wishing Christopher a speedy recovery, saying hello to one another. We're all such good friends, aren't we? We happy few. And I mean that literally, not just figuratively. I lost another subscriber the other day. Oh, and by the way, our good friend Lobo Gris isn't here thus far as yet, or Keebler. But they were mentioning something I see a lot. You'll go up in your subs, and then mysteriously YouTube takes them away. And some of these people are seasoned veterans. They know the tricks that you go on, you subscribe, you like, you go to a few posts, you like those two, you do a few post watches, so they know you're not a robot. I think Superplex. I was looking at Superplex when I was speaking. I think YouTube. I think the algorithm is getting fierce. Emily says, "I feel like a rock star here." You are a rock star here. And I'm reasonably certain you're a rock star everywhere. But you're definitely a rock star here, Miss M. Thank you for the link. Sister Sarah. And Ziplik says, "YouTube is a harsh mistress." The worst. The worst. And Tracy says, "May I have your autograph, Emily?" Oh, that's so sweet. And Sarah says, "I lose sub every time I go live. LOL." Yes, Yes, Lobo was complaining about that. He said, "Why is it every time I do a live chat, I lose a subscriber?" And it's almost like they ding you at, "Oh, we're gonna go live. How that's one subscription." I'm like, really, fascist? And I don't use that term loosely. Actually, I do. You know what? Cossack. Yeah, we'll go with Cossack. That's a little more colorful. Yeah, Cossack. Um, Keith says, not lurking. Hello to everyone. I missed, which is everyone. Oh, like I say, I saw your comment. So if I see you, you're not lurking. Keith, hello to you and Mr. Hooper, the hippo. And so glad that you are saying hello to all. Oh, Julian says, Emily, you rock my world. He says, you probably couldn't read it half the time. I can't either. My mother was going to be a doctor. Oh, and speak of the devil. Keebler, danger, no sugarcoating. Truth is here. Says Pons just woke up. Keebler, it is so great to see you. You gotta check out Keebler. She's been putting out these amazing AI music videos. She actually made one based on a trivia tidbit that I gave her, this little factoid. She did this AI music video on, well, sea cows that were actually cows of the sea. And I just happened to mention that during World War II, the German supply subs were called milch cows. And she did this amazing music video on the German submarine fleet and the milch cows. And anyway, you got to check it out. Sarah, be a dear and give Miss Keebler a link. Let people saying hi to Keebler. Oh, Tug is here. Says the algorithm is being especially mean to me right now. Use was robbed. I'm sorry. First of all, the amount of work you must have put into that video staggers. The editing alone. But you had three separate characters. You did like one of Alex's, who I haven't seen forever. Oh, hey Alex, shout out if you still watch. You'd like one of Alex's mini movies. Um and you managed to very few people could do pros and cons to a movie and be equally convincing to both. I mean, I understand being fair and even handed, but how do you actually take a movie, say how good it is, and then say how much of a cash grab it was, and be convincing on both sides and not sound like a hypocrite? Well, you found the way. You do it in two different characters. Anyway, loved it. Short story is, if you haven't checked out Tug's Texas, well, you won't now because I didn't say it right. If you haven't checked out Tug's Texas Chainsaw Massacre retrospect comparing the original and the remake, you've got to. Let's just say, even I was swayed by his arguments. Oh, and speaking of being swayed by arguments, I got your notification that you want to do A Boy and His Dog sometime in November. That sounded terrible. You want to cover the 1975 classic post-apocalyptic sci-fi cult film, A Boy and His Dog, this coming November. I found my notes, Cool Breeze. You're in for a battle. You're in for a battle. I'm so looking forward to it. I'll also have a month and a half to even come up with even more Pawns gems. So I am so looking forward to it. Indy Spouts says YouTube is like a mistress. Every time she brings out the whip, it costs you money. That image is going to haunt me, just so you know. And Emily, I think I explained why the Tug situation. And John Doe is here. He says, I am here, or am I? Well, you were here when you wrote that. If you're still here, I'm not sure. But you were at the time of the comment, to wit, I just read. And I said, to wit, not that you are a to wit. And Tracy says, hi, Eric. Thank you. Had fun today. Oh, oh my gosh, were you actually on the show today, by the way? Well, that's Trace. That's amazing, by the way. I'm sure you more than filled my boots. Dominique here says YouTube changes extra to bring out the whip. Oh, charges extra to bring out the whip. In my case, it would only be Cool Whip. Oh, Don't even get me started on that either. Why did this show get so risque tonight? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I really hope I click that not for kids tonight, especially. Keithy says, my non channel only has 53 subscribers and one extremely crappy video, lol. Extremely crappy videos can get many views, so that's not a bad start. And I just jumped. So I'm gonna have to go back a little bit, by the way. And wow, you guys are like very interactive tonight, and I love that. I love that. I'm just gonna kind of skip through. Texas, you made it extra fun. Emily says John is giving me an existential crisis. Oh no! And Keebler says I just watched Tulsa King for 4 times. Quiz coming Monday or Tuesday. I have a quiz tonight on 80s trivia, by the way, Keebs. Hope you'll stick around for that. Sarah says, I did Ponce, lol. Thank you. Thank you. Winterbook says, so YouTube is a sadist, or at least a dominatrix. She's a beauty. She's one in a million. Lynn says, Tug, I miss being on, but it's okay. And Tug says, it's just that my last few videos have been abnormally low viewers, and can't figure out why. Actually, I can. And we all know who to point the finger at. Ziblik says, you need cats, Tug, as pets, not don't get me started on that. And Cuba says Keith has a song coming tonight. Oh, Keith, you got a song coming out? I gotta check that out. I gotta check that out. It's awesome. And Keith says, hello, Z. Good to see you. And Emily says, I would probably get plenty of viewers. I just watched the train wreck that would be my first live. You are so harsh on yourself, Emily. Something tells me you would do amazing live. You'd pick a topic you know about, and run with it. We would all show up and make really nice comments, supportive comments, things that would actually keep the conversation lively, and that would be fun. Gary Carter says, hi there, everyone. I'm back. You certainly are. Should I say it like Arnold? I'm Bach. And I'm Beethoven. What? What? Let's just see what else we get going on here. Let people think a little one another. Tug says, Zublix, you might be on to something. I should force my family to get allergy shots and then make them a tax write-off for YouTube. That seems a little self-serving, but I've done worse for less. Doug says, thank you, Thrash. And John Doe says, one of the few things I know about the Second World War is that the enemies called it Steel Rain was the first time the U.S. used cluster bombs. I believe it. I believe it. And Emily says, still reading from the first few months of the year, but I'm getting there, I think. I'm sure you will, and I'm sure you will. And we're looking forward to it. And Gary says, where were you last time? Where was I last time? What? I'm sure I was somewhere, but I would need more of the context. And Zublik says, make the system work for you, Tug. Oh, that sounds like an 80s self-help guru. Make the system work for you. Um, and skimming down, Tracy says the dooster. Do the dooster. And I jumped a little bit. I think just a little bit. So I'm going to go back here and skim really, really quick because I think I'm almost caught up. Oh yeah, boom, 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 boom. And oh, Tug says she played the part of Thrash, and I am honored. Gary says, "Rest in peace to Chad McQueen and James Earl Jones." Yes, in fact, in the spirit of James Earl Jones, I actually watched City Limits, as some of you and I discussed. Gary, Mike, Sean, I think a few others. I actually watched it, and I'm going to do a review of it, even though it's not particularly good. John Doe says, did you say twit? I give you a double. Yeah, I knew it was going to sound like twit when I said to wit. Well played, Johnny Doe. And Tracy says, LOL, Tracy played Thrash. And he says, greetings from South Carolina. Dan, so nice of you to stop by. I know you got company tonight, but it's especially nice that you could make it. And Emily says, Gary James Hurt. And a lot of people saying hello to Danny, and why wouldn't they? And he says to Tug, if she wants to fill his shoes, she's going to have to bring up she's going to have to bring up wizards at least 350% more. Do I bring up wizards that much? I know Tom McCluskey did, and I know I have spoken about wizards on occasions. Fritz, get up for God's sake, Fritz. Fritz, those lousy warmongering vermin, they killed Fritz. They killed. Sorry, I lost my headphones there. But I love that scene when I was a kid. Ask Mama Thrash. I used to recite it ad nauseum. You know the story about wizards, right? I was like 9 or 10, and I had an orthodontist appointment or something. Anyway, I had to leave school early, and as a reward for being, I guess, brave for going to the orthodontist, rather than take me back to school, we went and we caught an afternoon showing of wizards, which, by the way, she thought, well, it's a cartoon. It shouldn't be that bad. It'd be like, not realizing it was by the same guy who did Fritz the Cat, which she realized in the theater. But of course, then it was too late. And while Wizards isn't nearly as risque as Fritz the Cat, it was a little strong for someone of my age group. And anyway, a jolly good laugh was had by all, and they killed Fritz. Those killed Fritz. Anyway, there we go. And Sister Sarah is giving us another link. Thank you. And Emily says, I'm not sure who Chad is, to be honest. I'm racking my brains. I know I'll get there eventually. It's gonna dawn on me. Oh, the son of Steve McQueen. I almost could have guessed that. But was he an actor? Was he in something I would have known? Was he an athlete? But yes, rest in peace, Chad Everett. Chad Everett, bite my tongue. Chad McQueen. And Keith says, Cug. Every time, I'm assuming that means Tug. Every time you go away. I've been going on the Patreon. They've been blocking me for my email, and I haven't fixed it yet. I was having a world of problems getting on the Patreons as well. By the way, I think I haven't straightened out, but I haven't been able to. Well, it's not that I haven't been able to. I haven't had much time. Things have been kind of crazy. So that's a good point. Oh, and Lance also says Chad is Stephen Queen's son. Christopher asks Emily if she's okay. John Doe says dark meat or white. Um, Traditionally, I like white meat turkey. And Tug says it's all good and it's all in fun. Now get in the pit and try to. I don't live in Ohio. For dead in Ohio. For not let me be wrong either. I just lost the will to breathe for a second. Emily says, "Oh no, how old was Chad?" Tracy says, "How sad, Chad." And Keebler says, "If I don't fall asleep, I'll be here. It's raining off and on, so waiting on a ride to get smokes." Um, I'd give you a pack of mine. I don't think it's feasible. Oh, I was only 63. That's awful. And Tug says, sorry about that, Keith, but your support still means the world to me. Oh, that's very, very kind of you. And Trey says, Eric, you've been funny with the Ohio reference. We do try. We do try. And Emily says, whatever happened to Retro Nerd Girl? I haven't seen her here in a while. She's still doing stuff. She's been doing a lot of work with the Outcast Creative, who I was supposed to do a Band of Brothers post with, but while we were trying to go back and forth, we lost contact and he did the post without me, and I more than understand. I would have been a side note anyway. But she's still doing work with him, and I get updates with her on Patreon, but I haven't had a chance to talk to her much just because the end of the season has been so. I kept thinking that after the summer ended, things would wind down, but it just seems every day it's something. Let's just see. Uh, Tracy said, I'm sorry, Sarah says, thank you to the geek. It was fun this morning. Dominic D says, nothing. He just jumped off the page. Uh, do, 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 do. Here we go. Was Chad McQueen an actor? I believe he was. I believe he was. Tug says, me too, Sarah. You're welcome. Oh, Retro Nerd Girl is busy with her channel, kind of figured. Oh, and Sarah says, hit the like button. Yeah, we got 12 people and only 8 likes. We can do better than that. Gary says, he was trying to recover from an accident. Oh, that's awful. Oh, that's awful. And Emily says, thank you. We just haven't seen her in the chat. Oh, Tug says he was in the Karate Kid, wasn't he? That sounds right. Let's go with that. He was in the Karate Kid. And Gary says, Dom, yes, he was on. Yes, he was in the Karate Kid. Okay, cool. And Lens confirms. Good. And then he says he failed to put Daniel San in a body bag. Hold on a second. No, 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 no. No, he's not the the kid who was just recently on Cobra Kai, was he? Uh, was that no? That was the blonde kid. No, 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 no. I must be thinking of somebody else. 'Cause I do remember the body bag reference. And Tracy says, Robert, they just wanted someone Gen X. Well, that's us. And WD says, oh, okay, he was in the Karate Kid, wasn't sure who he was. Tracy says, just joking at the Gen X bit. I get it, I get it. And Lynn says, Chad McQueen was a B-rated movie actor. Got it, got it. And Gary says, like father, like son. And Tug says, 350% of zero is still zero. Wowzers. Do you not like the movie Wizards? Wizards. The Wizards. And John Doe says, what's the quiz about tonight and would it be on the test? 80s trivia general, and no, it won't be on the test. Anyone? Anyone? And Zublik is right. 80s trivia. John Tug says, Danny, I'm glad you survived the alien invasion at your house. LOL. And Trey says, how is Mrs. Thrash and Mom doing? Mrs. Thrash was fine. She was woken from a nap. I was just using the microwave a minute ago. I would have given her a shout out, but she was, like I said, she had laid down and just woken up. Mama Thrash is doing quite well. Tiny problem with the downstairs plumbing. The sump pump is on the fritz, but a buddy of mine who's a miracle worker will hopefully be able to fix it. But we've got it to work so that there have been no unpleasantries with the downstairs plumbing as yet. But she's doing well, thank you. She's going up to visit my aunt, not this week, but the following week. Thank you for asking on both scores. Zuplik says we will be graded on a curve. Well, the 80s has a bunch of curves. And Gary says, how is the Thrasher Bunch? The Thrasher Bunch are doing quite well. Number one granddaughter's having her senior pictures tomorrow. So psyched. We are so psyched. And Emily says to Zuplex, I'm going to need a grading loop. And Lynn says, Tug, I said Battlestar Galactica earlier. Oh, cool. And Zuplex says, so will we at Emily. And Sean says he was one of the Cobra Kai and Cobra Kai 1 and 2. So he was one of the Cobra Kai, but not the principal bad guy, not Daniel San's principal enemy. Good, because I thought that guy was still alive. And John Doe says, at Spock. And let's just see. Tug says, yep, I meant to talk about it, Lance, but the conversation wasn't really under my control. LOL. That happens a lot. That happens a lot where you'll be meaning to bring up something, but the conversation goes in another direction, and Sean says, "Grrr, Chad McQueen, that is." And Gary Carpenter is high-fiving Sean. And Zubik says, I am convinced T-Pawns never left the 80s. You're convinced. You're convinced. The dumbest thing I ever did was grow up. 80s was the last good decade. The 90s, I didn't like it at the time, but with the benefit of hindsight, because you know what? This century has soaked. Do you understand? Soaked the century so far, and we're a quarter of a way into it virtually. I rush to say it before you get at me. We are virtually a quarter of a way into the century, and I have hated, I can't say every minute of it, but overall, it has not been a fun one. And I will die on that hill, literally, not figuratively. And oh, Danny's giving us a link. Thank you. And Keithy says, Tug, I will send you a message after the chat telling you what the problem is, I think. Oh, okay, good, good. And Tug says, then again, Sarah and I would have had to reopen our Eternal Battlestar Galactica remake. Another remake? And Sean says, hey to Lance, I said hi before, but was using my tablet while working out, so maybe it didn't post. Oh, not debate, not remake. And Gary says, Sean, what is it with you and Chad McQueen? And Sean says, Chad was 63, just short of his 64th birthday. When on 64, bum, bum. And you jumped again. Ah, no, I am not going to report everyone as spam. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I accidentally highlighted all of you and hit spam and you all like went and we're at 13, 13, but not to my tangent's having a tangent. 13 watches and 13 likes. Thank you guys. But can you imagine if I accidentally like blocked all of you all at once? This would be an extremely under interesting show. It would basically be just me here waiting for somebody to show up. And wow, I am so far behind. But and it's only 8 o'clock. But I will skim through. Zubik says, so backed up, T-Pawns. I know I'm about to go skimming. If I miss anyone's comments, please forgive me because we got to get to the trivia. And Sean says he died, poor guy. His sister died at 38. Both have survived by the mother. Awful. Oh, that's very sad. Gary Carpenter said she wiped the floor with him. Zubik says 50 years old, as I recall. I'm actually 57. And so for context, a lot of people saying hello to one another. I'm just going to skim through those. And he says, I just saw your boy Matt McCoy in an episode of The Mentalist today. Let's smash the like button. Gary Cameron says, Liza Minnelli has outlived her mom. John Doe says, what is the ultimate 80s song, TV show, movie? 80s song, Don't Stop Believing. 80s TV show, Hill Street Blues. 80s movie, Repo Man. All off the top of my head, all perfectly subject to debate. But when I think of those, that's what I think of. Sean says, LOL, you remember that? Never met Matt, but his brother Patrick was a friend of mine. In college, we once watched his brother get murdered on TV. Pat was traumatized. LOL. Brogu's here and says hello to everyone. Brogu, hello to you, my lad. Great to see you. I'm just gonna skip. Oh, Daryl Johnson's here. He says, Bob, other brother Daryl, how you doing? Right now, I'm gonna do a little skimming through. A lot of people saying hello to everybody. So like the ever the optimist, aren't you? People saying hello to Brogu and Daryl, and they're saying hello to everyone. And he says problems with the downstairs plumbing are common occurrences at our age, Bob. Well, no, I live on a split level. So the downstairs bathroom is in the utility room. It's actually below the water line. So we kind of need that sump pump. The pump itself is working. It's the switch. The, when the tank fills, there's a bobber switch that turns the pump on so it sucks out the water. That's going to be on the fritz. And either it's getting stuck in the on position or once got stuck, not going on. But hopefully we'll be able to like take care of that without too much trouble. And I'm just going to skim through. Sean says to Emily, Terry died around 2000 and at 38, around the year 2000, a liver transplant. Oh, very sad. Tug says he's not broadcasting from the 80s, although with my level of technology, I probably could be. And I'm just gonna kind of skim through. Dominic says I love the '80s too. Miss Lynn says '70s were the best, especially music wise. Music was phenomenal. Movie and TVs were also very, very good. Thing is, I was a little too young to enjoy it. I was born in '67. um, let's just see. '80s rock, hands down. I couldn't agree with you more. Lance. And Danny says, well, 78 through 88. That was a good 10-year period. I'll give you that much. And Superplex says, hair was too frizzy in the '80s for me. Now I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Oh, speak of the devil, Lobo Chris is here, says Thrash. Lobo, how you doing? And yes, we all seem to be wondering how come YouTube seems to take a subscriber here and a subscriber there. Very strange, huh? But anyway, Lobo, so great to see you today. Sorry I couldn't make your live chat, by the way. I had a lot of, literally, a lot of crap going on. You see it there, guys? Super. And right now, I'm just kind of skimming through because I'm way behind and we have to start the trivia. So a lot of people having a fellowship with one another, saying hello. I'm just going to kind of skim through that. A lot of people like the year '78. Steve McQueen did die in 1980, and I was devastated. When I was a kid, I loved Steve McQueen. He was like one of the first really, really big stars to die when I was a kid. And Doug says, yeah, Thrash is having plumbing issues getting through the chat, LOL. And then he says, spam, I'll have yours. I love it. I'm having spam, 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 baked beans, spam, spam, and spam. Baked beans are off. Well, can I have spam instead of the baked beans? That would be, well, you see where this is going. And Rachel's like, let's go to trivia. Keithy says it's 8 p.m. Wow, it's like 8:04 now. Well, I am catching up. And he's about says, hey there, kebab. Zubik says, now I figured that out. Unapologetic. Um, I'm just skim through. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Again, 86 the trivia. No, I'm not gonna 86 the trivia. Um, you know what? I just jumped. If I missed anybody's comments, I'm very, very sorry. John Doe says 70s, 80s ultimate greatness. 05 to 24 ultimate hate and well deserved. Lobo says, no problem. Thrash shut down early today anyway. Oh, gotcha, gotcha. And Gary says, Tracy, thank you, Kermit the Frog. Doug says, so the 50s isn't the new 30s? Yeah, sure it is. Why not? Why not? And Mr. Lynn says, I'm 68, Tracy. You're still a young un. And Dominic D says, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Poison. The '80s were a hair metal band. They certainly were. And he says, does anyone know the category tonight? '80s trivia. And Indy, Shonda says, LOL. Seriously, read the comments in the replay. I'll try. I'll try. Very similar to I rewatch my own shows. I used to. I just don't have the time anymore. But I will try. But like I say, if I miss anybody's, I am wicked, wicked sorry. And you know what? And he says, thanks, M. And on that, I'm going to start the trivia. Yes, thank you, M. I'm caught up and I'm starting trivia. So please forgive me for not responding to comments for the remainder of the trivia, period, apart from answers and scores. Number 10. President Reagan insisted that what be torn down? Was it A, the orphanage, B, the Kremlin, C, the temple, or D, the wall? I shall repeat. President Reagan insisted that what be torn down? Was it A, the orphanage, B, the Kremlin, C, the temple, or D, the wall? And I'm really amazed more people didn't go for the funny answers. Lisa Fields here says, hi, Thrash. Hi, everyone. I'm here. So good to see you. And uh, again, happy birthday. Lisa has a lovely, lovely daughter who just had her birthday. And please, everybody, wish Lisa Fields' daughter happy birthday. And Rachel, you're just another brick in the wall. The correct answer and also very, very timely. Um, but I decided to open up with an easy one. And again, I'm really astonished more people didn't go for one of the funny answers. And you know what? I know everybody's busy saying hi to Lisa and her back, and more appropriate could things not be. But again, I'm sure you all got that one. Again, because I decided to open with an easy one. Oh, and Lisa says, thank you, Thrash. Excellent, excellent. And again, I'm so glad you were right on time. Tux says, why did it have to be so high? The wall. uh, the Pink Floyd. Why did it have to be so high? And Mr. Led says, happy B Day to Lisa's daughter. And she says, thanks, everyone. And of course, we shall now move on to number 9. Number 9. Yeah, yes, Lance. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Or tear down this wall. Yeah, because he was out at the time. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Well, Mommy and me always said that this wall should come down. And anyhow, I'm going to move on to number 9. Number 9. In 1986, Geraldo Rivera underwhelmed audiences all over the country after opening what? Was it A, Akhenaten's crypt, B, Al Capone's vault, C, Babe Ruth's wine cellar, or D, the tomb of the unknown soldier? I shall repeat. In 1986, Geraldo Rivera underwhelmed audiences all over the country after opening what? Was it A, Akhenaten's crypt, B, Al Capone's vault, C, Babe Ruth's wine cellar, or D, the tomb of the unknown soldier? John Doe says Beetlejuice. Oh, a lot of people's wishing happy birthday to Lisa Fields' daughter. Yeah. His TV show debut. And Emily Mo says he underwhelmed us quite often. Do you know he was actually married to Kurt Vonnegut's daughter, Kurt Vonnegut Jr.'s daughter, but no more. And Brogu says later that night Geraldo got drunk because he was so ashamed. Is that true? Is that true? Well, how did you know? I mean, maybe there was something in it, maybe there wasn't, but there was a joke that later on he was going to blow up the tomb of the unknown soldier, but that was just a really, really, really sick joke. Sean says to Tug, sadly, it was an already used can of whoop ass. No asses were whooped. WD says a bunch of empty whiskey bottles were in the vault. Well, it was used for a speakeasy, but hadn't been opened since they legalized booze. So, John Doe says who? Al Capone. Al Capone's vault. They opened Al Capone's vault, and again, the only thing in it was some old, outdated empty whiskey bottles. Show me the way to the next whiskey bottle. Oh, don't ask why, because I'm a gin man. Number 8. Who killed Laura Palmer? Oh, and Scott's here. No worries. You can catch the first 2 questions in replay. But anyway, you're at number 8. And I'm not even going to give the selections. I'm just going to start the question again. Who killed Laura Palmer? Oh, it's 80s trivia tonight, by the way. A, Bob, B, Jason, C, Mike, or D, Freddie? I shall repeat. Who killed Laura Palmer? A, Bob, B, Jason, C, Mike, or D, Freddie? And everyone's saying hi to Harold, so it may take a while. I want to thank you for giving the link, Denny. So it'll be a while before we get some answers in, so I'm going to wait. Sean says David Lynch, Bob. Oh, that's actually a very good answer. You know what? I'm going to accept that. Yes. John Doe says, I stayed up to see that there was only an old rusty car in it. There was a car? I remember a car, but I'll take your word for it. And Tug says Maggie. That's a song by Rod Stewart. Emily says, "Well, it wasn't me." When there was a certain attempted shenanigan a few weeks back, one of my customers at the restaurant said, "Hey, did you hear blank blank got blanked?" And I said, "I've been here all day." Don't look at me. Emily says everybody's saying Bob, so Bob it shall be. Yes, and that would be. Bless me. Sorry. Yes, it was Bob. Technically, if you want to get technical, technically it was her father. But for those of you who watched the show, her father was possessed by an evil spirit whose name was Bob. And my friends that watched the show thought it was very, very funny. The evil spirit's name was Bob, as my actual given name is, in fact, Bob. Emily says, I don't watch Twin Peaks. When I was in school, that was like, oh, everyone's saying bless you, thank you. Um, everyone, a lot of people I know used to watch it religiously. Like if you went to their house, you couldn't talk during it. And Texas thinks Cindy, I was thinking that it was the 90s. Ah. And Daryl says, oh no, Bob blew his brains out. If I had any brains. If brains were gunpowder, you couldn't blow your nose. Where did I get that? Catch 22? I'm not sure. Sean says, yeah, Leland was possessed, played well by Ray Weiss. Yes, Ray Weiss, who's actually a really, really great actor. I've seen him in other stuff as well. And Gary says, don't be, I can't do nothing, especially without any money. And Harold saying hello to everybody. And he says, not even halfway through, and we're already wandering out of the decade. Wait a second. Twin Peaks was nine. Is that why Tug said 90? I thought it started in 89. Oh well, I got a bonus here. If you want to throw that one out, I understand. And John Doe says, Bob, do you spell your name backwards? No, because I have a silent Q in my name. It's kebab. But anyway, yes, the correct answer is Bob was the person who killed Laura Palmer. And number 7. Okay, who shot JR? No, I already used that one. Number 7. Which of these 80s major motion pictures was not a recipient of a Best Picture Oscar? Was it A. Amadeus, B. Rain Man, C. The Color Purple, or D. Out of Africa? I shall repeat. Number 7. Which of these 80s major motion pictures was not a recipient of a Best Picture Oscar? A. Amadeus, B. Rain Man, C. The Color Purple, or D. Out of Africa? Oh, Brogu says the actor in Twin Peaks also played in a science fiction movie called The Hidden. Yes, he did. Kyle MacLachlan. Um, and if you want to play 6 Degrees of the Hidden, it is astonishing how many actors like, oh my god, that's person's from there, and oh my god, that person's from there, and oh my god. It's a it's a turnover choo choo, turnover choo choo. It's a treasure trove of Hollywood celebrities. Anyway, and see, yes, and Color Purple was robbed. I know Out of Africa won, and I loved Out of Africa, but Color Purple really, really should have won. In fact, did I ever tell you the story of how I saw both of those movies? Okay. It was like midterms or something, I want to say. I had tests in the morning. My friends had tests in the afternoon. I got out of school early and I got to leave. I went down to Hyannis, which was the next town over, and I was going to meet them. We were going to do double feature, a double feature of The Color Purple and Out of Africa. But I got there first and had to wait for them. So I caught a matinee of Ruthless People. I saw 3 movies in one afternoon, and 2 of them were like 3 hours long. By the way, it was like a movie marathon. And he says Color Purple, 11 nominations and no wins. No wins at all. No wins at all. I thought it won for like best cinematography or best period. I thought it won something, and it was like, are you kidding me? It was like one of those like little minor Oscars, but no wins at all. And then he says 4 horrible movies for 1,000 pounds. Dude, Color Purple and Out of Africa were amazing films, both of them. And Ruthless People was a fun movie too. I love Ruthless People. Ruthless people. But anyway, yeah, the color purple. Number six. And then we'll get scores. Number six. Uh, this game changer 80s video game system, Nintendo, was a product of what parent company? A. Atari, B. Magnavox, C. Sega, or D. Coleco? I shall repeat. Game changer 80s video game system Nintendo was a product of what parent company? A. Atari, B. Magnavox, C. Sega, or D. Coleco? Give this one a second. Wow, a lot of people saying Sega. And this is still coming in, so I'm going to hold off for a second. This one might be a battleground. Has Indy answered yet? I think he's deliberately holding off on this one. Gary Garner says, "Geek, what do you think about the movie The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price?" I love that film. I think it's the most faithful adaptation of The Last Man on Earth there is. Not a perfect adaptation, but I think it's the most faithful, as opposed to the least favorite faithful adaptation, which I'm not going to burden you with. You guys probably already know that. Name four products that Sega were better than. I'm not sure. Daryl says, I just. Oh, I'm sorry. Daryl says, I got to see the second showing. It was great. Excellent. And oh, the entertainment headquarters is here. Oh my gosh, Kevin, how you doing? Hello, Thresh Bando and everyone. Oh my, yeah, hello. And again, keep me posted. I'm sure we can find a day that you, I, and Anubis can all get together and do more film projects. Please, Sarah and or Danny, please give Kevin at Entertainment Headquarters a uh, link. And he says, dated girls in the 80s, so no idea, I'm afraid. Doug says, I thought Nintendo was its own legacy company from the late 1800s. It actually, Atari. Nintendo was actually produced by Atari. And apparently, I mean, I knew that because I was something of a gamer, but apparently it was a minor factoid, so no surprises there. But anyway, yeah, the correct answer was, of course, was in fact A. And Brogan said a friend of mine did an amazing thing as well. One Sunday he gave a 1 hour sermon at church, played 18 holes of golf, and went to an NFL game. Now, wow. And Cameron says, yes, looking forward to it. Okay, so how about some scores here? Zuplex is 2 out of 4. Which question did you miss altogether? Scott says, I didn't know that. Cameron says, am dedicating this month of October to vampires. Well, you know, Last Man on Earth is going to come in to it. Well, not the Last Man on Earth, I should say. The last, yes, the Last Man on Earth as opposed to I Am Legend. Although I could talk about the book all day. Brogan was 5 of 5. Emily Miller is 4 of 5. Gary Cameron says, Geek, I have it in my library phone and I'm meaning to see it. Do, do. It's I have like a couple of copies on compilation films. Sean was like 5 for 5 tonight. Atari was a bit of a guess, though. It counts. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. Oh, she's very enthusiastically saying hello to everybody. She's grabbing her smoke. She's going to go to the smokers' lounge. We don't smoke inside our house. It's a little bit of a rule. And Tracy's 3 of 5. Daryl's 4 of 5. Jono says Popeye was supposed to be in Donkey Kong, but it fell through. So Nintendo came up with Mario. I never knew that. I know there was a Popeye video game, but I never knew that. Christopher is 3 out of 4. Mr. Lynn says 4 out of 5. Mr. Tari. Luke says I didn't answer question 7. Oh, you could have guessed, but okay. It was a color purple. Emily says Teh, which is a more interesting. I'll give you that. And Lisa Fields is 4 of 5. Oh, by the way, do you think Stevie Nicks is a participant in the craft? Let me know. Lisa Fields 4 of 5. Indy is like, oh, the internet says Atari did not own Nintendo. For your information, 4 of 5. Okay. Um, for those of you who didn't answer Atari, you can also get it right. I even looked it up. I even looked it up, but Indy, I'll never argue with you. Geek apparently there's the last woman on earth. I did not know that. And Rachel is 4 out of 5. And Gary is 4 out of 5. And a lot of people saying hi to Mrs. Ponce. And Tug is 4 out of 5, but I'm going to research the Nintendo question because I'm dubious. Yeah, according to Indy, I'm wrong, even though the site I went to confirmed it. But I will never argue with Indy again. And Indy says it also says Nintendo later bought Atari. Okay, all right. So maybe Atari was uh maybe I haven't been backwards. But anyway, we'll throw that question. Anybody give yourself that question is right. So if you were 4 4 5, you are now 5 4 5. Moving forward, Emily Miller says, I guess I'm 5 for 5. Yes, you are. To me, you're always 5 for 5. 5 for fighting. And speaking of five, high five, high five. Number 5 is this format was an early rival of the VHS videotape. Was it A, the Macintosh, B, the Beta, C, the Omega, or D, the DOS? I shall repeat. This format was an early rival of the VHS videotape. Was it A, the Macintosh, B, the Beta, C, the Omega, or D, the DOS? And I'm not going to wait. Apparently, Gary Hummer says you and me both, T. What did T say? I missed it. Well, I'm sure whatever it was insightful. John Doe says real to real. I remember real to real. Rachel says laser disc. But apparently everybody knows this one. It was, in fact, Beta. And number 4. Which of these famous Hollywood figures is not famously impersonated by Eddie Murphy? Was it A, Bill Cosby, B, Red Fox, C, Gumby, or D, Buckwheat? I shall repeat. Which of these famous Hollywood figures is not famously impersonated by Eddie Murphy? Was it A, Bill Cosby, B, Red Fox, C, Gumby, or D, Buckwheat? And now that she's not in the room, I'm going to. Mrs. Thrash said Bill Cosby. And I was like, I go, you don't remember his Bill Cosby impression? It, his comeback. Based on- anyway, but yes, Red Fox. Apparently, you guys all know this one too. Yes, which is a pity because he knew Red Fox. They were in film together, but he never. I think maybe he had too much respect for Red Fox to try to impersonate him. But no, he did not impersonate Red Fox. All the others he did though. And number 3. Whilst certainly not the last attempt at this age old TV format, this show is considered the death knell of the music comedy variety show. Was it A, John Biner's Bazaar, B, Bobber Mandrell and Sisters, C, Pink Lady and Jeff, or D, Super Dave's I'll come in again. Super Dave Osborne Show. I shall repeat. While it's certainly not the last attempt at this age old TV format, this show is considered the death knell of the music comedy variety show. A, John Biner's Bazaar, B, Bobber Mandrell and Sisters, C, Pink Lady and Jeff, or D, the Super Dave Osborne Show. Cop Rocks. Eric Ever says, "I despise Gumby." John Doe and Tony Clifton. Texas, those are some random words you just throw at me. I know, really. Oh, Star Search, that's another good one. Uh, I see the right answer, but there. Oh, Howard Cosell presents. That was a comedy musical variety show. Um, the answers are actually all over the place for this one. I thought I could have sworn I talked about this before. In fact, I thought we actually talked about variety shows at one point. So either I'm making stuff up in my head or you folks aren't paying attention. Uh, Cosell, you lousy autocrat. It is about this Pink Lady and Jeff is the worst by John Banner's Bazaar lasted a lot longer. Yeah, exactly. Bazaar was actually a funny show. Just not a lot of people watched it. It did last a couple seasons, and actually, Super Dave Osborne was a spinoff of it. But one of the funniest things it was a lot of improvisation, not improvisation, just like random wackiness. John Banner did a whole sketch where nobody says anything, just they're wearing T-shirts with messages on them, and he and his wife keep pulling off the T-shirts, and each one miraculously is a response to what was on the other one, and it was actually bizarrely funny. It's far funnier than I'm actually making it sound. Um, Pink Lady and Jeff. As I'm sure, I don't know if many of you remember the story behind it. It was actually Pink Lady and Jeff were Pink Lady was a Japanese singing duo. They were beautiful. They sang like angels. They were like megastars in Japan. And America decided they were going to appropriate them. And the Japanese production were like, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. We want to be on American TV. Definitely, definitely, definitely. And there was one caveat. The American, I hate to say headhunters, but one better term, the acquisitioners were like, do they speak English? And the Japanese uh, advocates were like, not really. And but when they said not really, they kind of made it sound like it was more like Charo, who actually spoke perfect English. She just sort of hid behind the whole lost in translation humor shtick. And they go, "Oh, that'll be cute." They'll be like, "Oh, Pat Morita," when we go, who also speaks perfect English, but he would sort of like flub, not really being able to communicate. It'll be cute. It'll be cute. Well, when they said not really speak English, they meant they didn't speak a word of English. The pilot literally they had to say their lines phonetically because they didn't understand any English at all. So they would welcome to our show, and it was a disaster because while the music numbers they did were nice, they were all in Japanese, and most Americans can't speak Japanese. And when they were trying to do comedy bits, you couldn't understand a GD word they were saying. One of them got to say hot tub time, because one of the things they did try to save the show was they would come out in bikinis and get into the tub, and people were like, "Oh, these really hot Japanese girls in bikinis will save the show now." And it was so bad it's actually considered the death knell of the comedy variety show, even though there were certainly shows after that. One other little tidbit I want to give you guys tonight before we give the last few questions is: do you remember I've made several references to a show so bad it was actually canceled in mid mid like they don't run the entire episode of the show, and it lasts one episode and that's it. And I had heard stories of a show that was actually canceled while it was being aired. Apparently it was called Turn On, and it was sort of Laugh-In, Rona Martin's Laugh-In, only a little more um surreal. And it did so poorly on the New York affiliate that people in the Central Time bit, like Tim Conway told the story. Apparently, um, the like Ohio affiliate pulled the plug halfway through. So yes, some affiliates actually it didn't even run through the entire episode. It was canceled in some areas in mid episode. That was a running joke of mine. The show's so bad it was actually canceled while it was airing. Go fig. Anyway, last couple. I do have a bonus tonight. So number two, this famous performance. I'm sorry, this famous performer was not a member of the disastrous SNL 1984-85 cast. Remember that one? Yeah. A. Randy Quaid, B. Damon Wayans, C. Gilbert Gottfried, or D. Joan Cusack. I shall repeat. This famous performer was not a member of the disastrous SNL 1984-1985 cast. Oh, did I not answer? C. Pink Lady and Jeff. I thought I made that clear for the last question. And the selections are for this one: A. Randy Quaid, B. Damon Wayans, C. Gilbert Gottfried, or D. Joan Cusack. I knew a lot of people were going to pick Joan Cusack, but you know what? No, she actually was on SNL. I did not. I did not remember that at all. Um, so go fig. But no, she actually was on SNL. John Doe says, I sent you a fan made trailer of Thunder the Barbarian. Let me know what you think of it. I thought I texted you back about that. I thought I sent you a response. It was phenomenal. Um, John found this really amazing. It's sort of like a fan made trailer of a live action Thundar movie, and it's really, really slick. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch all the trailers and things you've sent me, John, but the ones I do get to watch, I'm very grateful for, so thank you. Doug says she never answers the immediate questions about it. LOL. Well, could you blame her? Kevin says Joan Cusack is a good actress. She's an amazing actress, better than Saturday Night Live, and certainly shouldn't have gotten fired for it. And Sean says Chris Rocket died in the town next to the one I was living in at the time. Hard way to go. Oh, that's very, very sad. Yeah, he got fired too, but different season. And Mr. Lynn says Wayans was on Living Color. Yes, but he was on Saturday Night Live first. Because you know what? I'm going to answer this one because it seems like people are getting hoisted on the petard on this one. Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert Gottfried did do one season of SNL, um, but it was like the 81 season, I want to say. And oh, Rachel says I'm freezing. Oh, no, freezing here. Good. I hope it's just Rachel. Uh, John says I just knew. Uh, I just I just you a new Thunder Oh, a new one? Oh, thank you. Somebody says in 1980. It was 1980. Thank you. And Gary Gilbert says Joan was in the Muppets Christmas movie, a parody of It's a Wonderful Life. I believe that. Uh, Emily says, "What letter was Gilbert? What letter was Gilbert? I don't know if he had a letter, but anyway, supposedly, he got fired and didn't know it. The story goes that he was in the SNL building and they were giving some tour, and this um, tour guide said, "I have a young lady here. Was this little girl? This young lady wants to say hi to you." And he goes, "Oh, that would be so sweet. Please have this little girl come in so I can accept her accolades." And she comes in and says, "Hi, hello, Mr. Godfrey. It's so nice to meet you. So sorry you were fired." And he was like, "What?" And she goes, "Oh yes, yes. I was so sorry to hear that you were fired. You won't be returning next year." And he had no idea. Later on that afternoon, they called him in the office and he was fired. Apparently, she knew before he did. But yeah, it was Gilbert Gottfried. C. And the number one question, at least for this installment, is in the early 80s, the United Kingdom went into a baffling state of war with this opponent. Was it A, Argentina, B, Brazil, C, Panama, or D, Iraq? And yes, indeed, they did fire most of the cast. I shall repeat. In the early 1980s, the United Kingdom went into a baffling state of war with this opponent: A, Argentina, B, Brazil, C, Panama, or D, Iraq. And apparently, everyone remembers that story. Oh, and you guys remember? I remember I said I was actually in the Bahamas at that time, and we saw what we would have sworn was a British sub, which we thought was heading into the action, and it was a dredge. But its silhouette looked like the signature of an old style sub. Kevin says, I should know that this as I am British. True, but it was way before your time, Sonny. But yes, the correct answer. Oh, is Tracy back? Everyone's saying hi to Tracy and Gary and Wedge, and everyone's just having fellowship. Hello, fellowship. Oh, Wajamin is here. Oh, that's it. Oh, hello, Wajamin. You're just in time for the last question of tonight's trivia. Um, which did I repeat? Yeah, I'm sure I repeated. It was Argentina. Anybody remember what the spoils of said war was over? Let me know in the comments below. But I do have a bonus. And the bonus is this. Before his ill-fated shenanigans, John Hinckley was reading what? A. Atlas Shrugged, B. Lord of the Flies, C. 1984, or D. Catcher in the Rye. Oh, and again, somebody, Danny or Sarah, please give Watching Me a link. Although I'm pretty sure everyone Zuplex, you are correct. It was the Falkland Islands. Argentina had they believed that the Falklands were part of their territorial integrity, so they seized them. At the time, they were a colony of Britain, so Britain decided to take them back, and Britain prevailed and got the Falklands back. And I shall repeat: before his ill-fated shenanigans, John Hinckley was reading what? A. Atlas Shrugged, B. Lord of the Flies, C. 1984, or D. The Catcher in the Rye. Oh, Dan out here quoting Frasier. Let's just see what yeah. Kevin said, "Hell yeah, we did." LOL. Rule Britannia, Britannia rule the waves. Britons never shall be slaves. Um, Sean says bedtime for Bonzo. He hated that story. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Rachel says D, my fave. And yes, it is correct. It's D. D is, in fact, the correct answer. Oh, here's a bonus to the bonus. What was the movie that gave him his idea for his insane plan? I'm not going to give any clues. I'm sure you guys all know that. And yeah, let's actually, while we're doing that, let's get scores. Zublix is 7 of 9. 7 of 9, excellent. Oh, Sean for the win, yes, Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver was, in fact, the movie. Yeah, Tug also got it. Sean is 9 for 10. Tracy is 6 for 10, and Taxi Driver. By the way, remember, guys, everybody give yourself the Atari question. So if you got that wrong, you got it right. Taxi Driver with Jodie Foster. Rachel says Taxi. Oh, that's a comedy show, but I know what you meant. Someone to accept it. Daryl said Mr. Bean. Tug is 11 out of 10 with the bonus. Lisa's 9 for 10. Yeah, if you got the bonus, by the way, give yourself another point as well. Lisa's 9 out of 10. Gary is 9 out of 10. Rachel is 10. I'm assuming out of 10. Mr. Led is 9 out of 10. Daryl Johnson is 7 of 10. Zublix is The Sound of Music. Different war. And Emily is 10 out of 10 with the bonus. And Kevin says, sometimes in November, I would love you back on the channel to talk about Tarantula, 1955. Um, is that the one with Leo G. Carroll? Because there's another one called Earth versus Spider, and I always get the two mixed up. But I have seen both, and I would love to talk about both of them with you. Either. The hills are alive, Carrie. Daryl says, I win. You certainly do. Benjamin says, LOL, only the bonus. So you're one of a kind. One of a kind. Love affair is. Zublex is 8 out of 10. Remember, you don't count the bonus. Well, you count the bonus if you get it, but it's always out of 10 because it's a bonus. Keith E is 6 out of 10. Excellent. Chance is here. Oh my God, Chance, so good to see you. Thanks for the huge props the other night, by the way. Thank you again. Chance says, have a great week. All you too, Chance. Thank you for stopping by. And Sean says to Rachel, the unapologetic geek appear to be the winners. Aren't we all winners? Aren't we all winners? Miss Flynn says Tarantula has Clint Eastwood. I thought Earth versus the Spider has Clint Eastwood. Do I have them mixed up? Which is the one with Mara Corday? Because the one with Mara Corday, because Mara Corday and Clint Eastwood were friends, and she helped him get work earlier in his career, and years later when he was established and she was not getting as many parts, he had her. He got her work as well. Texas Leo G. Carroll was over the barrel when. Why can't I use that to remember Leo G. when Tarantula? So it's the tarantula from Tarantula. So I will remember it for the rest of my days, Tug, and I'm astonished you had to actually give me that reminding uh, technique. Kevin says John Agar in the cast. John Agar from Creature from the Black Lagoon, obviously, but he was also married to Shirley Temple. In fact, I believe at times they called him Mr. Shirley Temple, and he absolutely hated that. He absolutely hated being called Mr. Shirley Temple. Lighten up! She's making more money than you. Tug says you mispronounced wieners. Oh, I wish I was an Oscar Minor wiener, because everyone would relish me. My English teacher in high school, well, one of them, when Oscar Mayer was actually having the contest for that slogan jingle, whatever you want to call it, that was her response. She was like, I guess 14 or something, and she wrote a submission, and it was, I wish I was Oscar Mayer arenas so everyone would relish me because you put relish on hot dogs. Very clever, wasn't picked up. Probably too clever for the American audience, which is why they didn't pick it. And Chance is like saying, Chance is I. You certainly are, and thank you very much for joining us, even at this late stage of the. And Kevin says Tarantula in 55. Clint Eastwood plays the pilot. Okay, so he is Mara Corday is in Tarantula, and Clint Eastwood is the pilot in the climactic scene at the end. So I was right. Emily says the Capelsi was empty entertainment headquarters. I believe it was. Of course, they were F-6 Phantom jets. Did they have two pilots? I can't remember. Cindy D's here. Oh, hello. I'm late listening. Just got back from laundry. So glad you are here, even at this late stage of the ball game. Sean says, I was walking out of the room and heard Thrash saying something about a live stream. Maybe I was talking about Tracy. Oh, any number of things I've been talking about. I don't pay attention to myself. Zubik says, sorry, Cinder and Ash. Cinder and Gold. Cinder and Gold. Kevin says, I not seen it in a while, but I want to revisit it. I ordered it on Blu-ray. I'm sure I have a copy. I am certain I have an account. Autocorrect strikes again. I thought you were calling it Cinder. Sean says fandoms were F4s. I said F6, didn't I? Durr. I'm sorry. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, Christopher says, "Good evening, Cindy." Chance says to Thrash Bondo, "I was answering Daryl Johnson, who had commented, 'Who is Chance?'" Oh no, I get it. I figured someone said, "Who is Chance?" And he says, "Chance is I." Said I. Kind of figured. But anyway, again, welcome to this late stage of yeah. Because it occurs to me, a lot of people know you as the Pod Blast, but not as Chance Bartel, as do I, as I do. As now you got me doing it. But anyway, Emily says I was making a reference to Eastwood. Oh, talking to an empty chair. Now I'm with you. I'm with you. And Mr. Led says Clint Eastwood was always my favorite actor. He's very, very good. And Emily says talking. I get it. And Tug says, and when worlds collide, said George Pal to his bride, I'm going to give you some joint, some blanks and some blanks. I was actually going to do the participation, but it occurred to me uh, that might actually not work on the algorithm, and I have enough problem with that. But yes, um, to be honest, and don't feel bad about having to recite the song. I always thought Late Night Picture Show was one of the best songs on the album. Um, it's a little out of my range, but as a film buff, I loved it. And Sean says F6 were Hellcats from World War at World War II. I know what you meant. Gotcha. Thank you. And Kevin says there is a color version as well as the black and white version. And Sean says too, Indy Dad was also a United States Air Force pilot, overachieving MF. Mr. Lund says still watch it on MTV, MeTV rather, MeTV. My dad actually joined the Air Force during Vietnam, but as a result of a bad injury, his arm couldn't handle moisture, extreme dampness, and in Biloxi, he said it swelled up almost like a fiddler crab. And they figured, and first like, well, maybe we'll treat it with diuretics and blah, 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 acclimate and blah, 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 blah. And they go, if he can't handle Biloxi, Mississippi, what's going to happen if slash when we send him to Vietnam? And they go, yeah, sorry, kid, you're out. Now, here's where the story gets crazy. So he was unfit for military service in the Air Force, and he figured that was in fact that. He got a draft card from the Army, and he goes, "Oh, I'm unfit for military service," and they go, "Oh, you're unfit for the Air Force. We could probably still use you." And he had to go through the whole process. They actually determined he was unfit for military service, considering where they would have been sending him to. But he really thought it's like, you're kidding me, you're kidding. But anyway, that is as they say that. And oh, Zubik says, I think you were referring to the Corsairs. Oh, Sean, were you referring to Corsairs? I'm not sure. Cindy says hello to everyone. Oh, and Tom, your ears must have been burning. We were talking about wizards earlier. Tom McCluskey's here says, sorry I'm late. No worries. You're just in time to say goodnight, everyone. Good night, Rowan. Good night, Martin. Yeah, we're actually just gonna be closing up shop now. So anywho, I want to thank you guys. This was a lot of fun tonight. Sorry I'm all stuffy. Oh, Keebler says, oh, hey to watch, I mean. Sorry I was really stuffed up. The goldenrod is terrible, terrible in this area. Tom, again, thank you so much for stopping by. Sorry we're wrapping things up. Don't take it personal. Remember next time. I'm guessing you had to work tonight. I'm guessing you had to work, but I'm so glad you could make it. And Zublik says the Phantom I was the Navy's first jet. Oh, the Phantom One was the Navy's first jet fighter. Oh, okay, cool, cool. And Keith he says to Keebler, thanks for Hooper the Hippo song. It's great. I'm gonna have to check that out myself. Actually, check that out myself. And anyway, I'm gonna thank you guys for being here. I want you all to be good, be safe, be careful. I will drop new comment this week if it kills me. I have 3 things I'm working on. Cindy, while we're on the subject, Cindy, I have a new angle on my forgotten song lyrics, and I think you might like it. So I'm probably gonna do one of those. And I have two things I'm working on that both involve James Earl Jones. One of them is City Limits, and the other has to do with his Darth Vader character. But anyway, so there'll be at least one video posting this week. Fingers crossed. And I want to thank you. There will be another show next Sunday, but I thank you for joining me this Sunday, and looking forward to seeing you all again next Sunday. Um, Again, I love doing these shows, and it seems like you guys really enjoy them too. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Be good, be safe, be careful. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.